Since my breakup, I realize now that this feeling of loneliness started creeping in, and I wasn't even aware of it at the time.
I'm moving into my new apartment today.
Because that's not something I previously experienced, both because I'm an introvert, but also because I've always been around people. When I lived in Denmark, I was with my family, obviously, and I went to school, and then I had my dance team. And when I moved to Copenhagen, I was doing dance education, so like I had a bunch of friends I was with every day. And then I moved to LA, moved into this home for dancers where I made a ton of friends, and I would be dancing every day, so I would just be super social. But then when COVID happened, I moved to OC with my partner at the time. That's when I started building my business, and that became my priority. And I would work from home, but I would have him, so I would get some sort of human connection, even though I wasn't like crazy social outside of that. I've always been like really ambitious, so when I set a goal, I just am very focused towards that, both when it comes to my business, but before that it was dancing. And because of that, I'd be so focused on my goal and spend my entire day doing that. I would go to the gym, but I wouldn't have a lot of space to also be social. And also because all my friends were in LA, it was like a far drive, so I just didn't prioritize that much.
I will say though that now looking back at the relationship, as we started to disconnect more, I did start feeling lonely, but I couldn't really see that at the time. Maybe some of you can relate to that, being in a relationship but still feeling like you're alone. He's an incredible guy though, and I'm so grateful for everything that we had because I've learned so much, and I know he has too, and it was such a good experience. So just wanted to say that because a lot of people leave a relationship and they're like, oh my gosh, he sucks, so now I've wasted 2 years of my life. But think of how much you grew and you learned and how much he taught you or she taught you during the time you're together. So I just think it's important to always have gratitude and let go of any anger or any resentment that you have towards that person, because it will only set you free. But he really truly is a great person, so I mean that from my heart. That was close. You almost got squished in the escalator. So when we ended things, I got to get my own 2-bedroom apartment in LA, which I was just crazy excited about because I'd always had roommates in LA. I've lived by myself in Copenhagen before, which I just, oh my gosh, I loved it so much. But at the time, I also was dancing and hanging out with people every day. I'm still trying to get my strength back since COVID. It's taken a while. I had all these plans that I was going to go back to LA and I was going to start dancing again and hang out with the people that I used to hang out with. But what happened was that I went back to my old new patterns where I would just work at home all day, and I was in my apartment by myself. Yes, I would go to the gym and maybe once a week I would take a dance class, but I was pretty much by myself 24 hours a day. And I was obviously doing this because I just am so passionate about what I do. Like, I love it. It makes me so freaking happy. But it's just not sustainable long term, you know? And then that's when, after a few months, this little negative emotion started to creep in. And I was like, what's off? And I wasn't able to tell. So I got this idea that, oh my gosh, I should become a digital nomad. And it just sounded so exciting to me, and it was freaking exciting, and I was with people all the time, and I really had such an incredible time doing it. But then after spending, I think, around 3 months with people traveling, I was raving just like being by myself. And so I went to Mexico by myself, and after a few weeks, this little negative emotion that I had felt previously in my apartment in LA started creeping in again. And I actually shared that with you in my ice bath challenge video. But then this is when I got food poisoning. Then I went back to LA, made all these plans. I was supposed to do a modeling job. I got COVID. I had to cancel my fitness influencer retreat in Tampa and lock myself in a hotel room in LA, where I then realized Tony Robbins was doing this Unleash Your Power Within event, and I did that, and that's when I had a ton of realizations.
And if you watched my video from last week, you know that during this time I realized that I wanted to start dancing and modeling again.
But also that what I've been experiencing was loneliness. And I'm a super independent person, so like, that's not something I ever thought I would feel. But I guess we do need human connection regardless.
And I realized that I could either continue to escape this feeling of loneliness or I could do something about it. During my time having COVID, I created a very clear goal, created a very clear action plan, and I committed. And since then, I've been hanging out with friends every second day, and I've been dancing, I've been creating like little dance videos with people, and I've just been enjoying it and really feeling the positive effects that have come from it, and I've been feeling like I've been back in the good old days. If you watch my other videos, you know that I'm renting out my apartment and my car until September. So I moved into my friend Effie's place, which I just so love. So I have a roommate, and I got myself a bike instead of driving around, which also brings me a lot of joy.
There's two reasons I'm sharing this with you. One is that I didn't think a lot of people experienced loneliness, but as I became more aware of the fact that that's what I was experiencing, that a lot of my friends had been experiencing that as well.
Have you guys ever been lonely in LA?
Definitely.
Yes.
Many times.
Even having friends, sometimes I feel lonely.
And everyone's here for their own thing, so it is really hard sometimes. Like you belong, like you have friends, but we have friends.
So I hope that this video in some way makes you not feel alone if this is something you're feeling. And secondly, maybe you are not feeling loneliness, but maybe you do feel some sort of negative emotion, and maybe you, like I was doing, escaping from it. So I hope that this video inspires you to sit down and feel it, write out what you're feeling and how you want to feel instead, and then set a goal and create an action plan and commit so that you can overcome that negative emotion and actually do something about it, because we are in charge and able and capable. The emotions that we do not want to feel. Awareness is step number one. And I probably sometimes will fall back into my old patterns, but that's really self-development and growth, right? But the more we practice, the better we get. That's how we create a good life. We both want that, right? Not challenge our norm, and that's what we're all about on this channel. So if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button, ring the notification bell so that we can grow together.
I love riding on my bike, and I'm going to dance class now. You know how I said I left my suitcase like 3,000 miles away on the other side of the planet almost, and I didn't know how to get it back? Well, apparently it turns out that you can hire a company to ship it. So I got my suitcase back. The problems are slowly solving themselves when you just need to solve them.